In order to take a quantum leap, not just move forward or just move the dial a little bit, but really a quantum leap, there are certain steps you absolutely must take.
Agent Power Huddle is a daily jumpstart, giving you all the tools you need to create an amazing real estate career. Led by top experts in the field, you'll learn how to sell more houses in less time while creating the life you want. Welcome to the Agent Power Huddle.
So happy Monday, and we're going to go ahead and get started, and we'll just let everybody join in as they start logging on. Theautis, I have got to first start. We cannot go without congratulating you on a completion of the Iron Man. That rocks. You want to give us a quick, let's give a quick congratulations. I mean, talking about quantum leaps today, everybody, that is a huge quantum leap. You've been training for that for how long, Theautis?
Actually, I started in January. Yeah.
Oh, we lost you.
Started in January. Learned how to swim last year.
You started in January.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I know we've talked on other shows too about some of your training and everything. So today, we're going to get into taking a quantum leap in your life. And, especially since I just saw you coming off of that, I went, wow, that's a great topic for our conversation today. So again, we're going to get started right now. It's 8:01 and welcome to Agent Power Huddle, everybody. I'm Susan Johnson with Susan Johnson and Associates eXp Realty. My co-host Theautis Persons right there on the phone, on the Zoom as well. And we always welcome you to, add conversation and jump in on any of our conversations along the way, because this topic today, the quantum leap 10 steps to help you soar, can actually go on for a few weeks of training. So we're going to get through as many of the steps today as we can, but I don't want to cut them too short. So if we need to extend this to a 2-week topic, then we will. Okay. So, Dr. Gloria Mayfield Banks, she's actually the internationally renowned motivational success strategist and a sales trainer. She's consistently beat the odds to achieve extraordinary results. A lot of this today is taken off a book I read that she wrote called Quantum Leap. And then, of course, I've done a lot of Tony Robbins. So I pull in some of the training we've done there. Good morning, Jesse. Jesse just logged on with us.
Good morning.
She built a multi-million-dollar enterprise, and she was also the founding partner for something called the Charisma Factor. So nothing changes your life until you change. That's kind of how it starts out. In order to take a quantum leap, not just move forward or just move the dial a little bit, but really a quantum leap, there are certain steps you absolutely must take. All right, so let's dive into those. Take some notes today, everybody. Step number 1, how do you turn your dreams into reality? So many people actually they really want to do more in their lives, and they're actually willing to do a lot more in their lives. But unfortunately, sometimes they're just not sure what steps to take. Okay. And so when we dive deep here, the very first step is actually the step of decision. Okay. Shake your head, or, if you've heard that before, the step of decision, everything starts with really making that one decision. Leap off, not just step off, leap off the fence of indecision, to get into action. So the first step is actually making that decision. You have to actually have a clear direction of where you want to go, right? Like Theautis training for, an Iron Man. You don't just run out there and do it. There's a decision that he makes to actually put the effort and take the action steps to acquire that lofty goal. So a lot of people sit on the fence and they're just like, okay, well, what do I do? Well, how about first mapping out and writing down a very clear, specific definition of what your intended direction is going to be. This is a critical first step. And oftentimes we're just shooting in a lot of different directions, just trying to figure it out along the way. When if you just pull back and sit down and write that out and get very clear with a decision you want to go and what decision you want to make, you're going to find that's how you're going to get that quantum leap. So to experience that, you've got to actually make that decision, get clear, and write that down. All right. So the next thing you need to do when you have that decision made is, with faith and clarity, your path starts to become crystal clear. Would you agree with that? It's like we're going to be doing business plans, I'm sure. That's very much the same way. Make that decision. In order, though, for you to focus and really achieve that, I'm going to put a little bit of Tony Robbins into this. In order to achieve these things, ask yourself these 3 questions. So we're still in step number 1 of making your decision, getting clarity, and ask yourself 3 questions. The first question is, what result am I wanting to achieve? What is my goal? Where do I want to go? It's called an RPM. Have any of you heard of the RPM program? No? I see a few people. Okay. So
what's the RPM program?
I'm going it right now. Thanks, Jesse.
Can I pause you for just a sec while we're paused?
Absolutely.
So,
go right ahead.
Those of you on the screen, it's Monday morning, right? It's Monday. You're here on this call. Is this tracking so far? Are you figuring out, like, I want to see, I'm looking at people's faces, like, yes, no, like, make a decision. It's Monday. We're committing something for the week. Or you're like, nah, it's Monday. I don't really want to commit to anything. I don't want to make a plan. How are we feeling? Ken Krotz says yes. Okay, wave your hands. Do this with your hands if you're like, yes, I'm in. I'm all in. I got 3 of you, 4 of you, 5 of you, 6 of you, all of you. There we go. All right, Susan, we're tracking. Keep rolling.
Oh, thanks, Jesse. And it's so true. These Zoom calls are great. However, when we're live and in person, we're really interacting. That's why I try to encourage you to interact as well. I'm going away, but by all means, step in, because when the more people we get involved in these dialogues, the more we'll all get out of it, right? So
Susan, let me jump in too real quick.
Please,
the information that you're sharing with us, I want everyone to think about this concept. We all have 2 lives: the lives we're living now and the lives we're capable of living. Now think about that. 2 lives. The one we're living now and the ones we're capable of doing. What Susan is sharing with us are some things that can help us live the life that we're capable of doing. So
exactly. And thank you. And so this is what I love is when you jump in and give these dialogues. So we only have 30 minutes. If I talking fast, is we have a lot of content, but you know what? I don't really want to rush through it, because it is it's so much, it's so rich, it's so much information that I don't want just to kind of go right by you. So thank you for those interactions. RPM, when we're making that, you made your decision where you want to go, you can actually do something called an RPM. R is identifying your results. Where is it you want to go? That's that decision you just made, but you need to put something behind that. All right. And that's the P. Does anybody know what the P stands for? Okay. Planning. Well, kind of planning. That's coming up next. Purpose. So you need to set your result, make that decision of where you want to go, get that clarity, and then you need to put a big why behind it. Why do you want to do it? What's it going to do for your life, for your family? What is your purpose of attaining that? Okay. Honestly, Theautis, I'd love to kind of dive deeper with you into the whole Iron Man process and the purpose and what it's done for your life. That could be a whole interview too on itself. But then, Ken, you were right. Right behind the P is the M. RPM. Results, your purpose, and then your M is your massive action. What are you going to do to create a plan and then set a timeline on that plan to take massive action to get that result? All right. So making that decision, this, like I said, step 1 in your quantum leap is making that decision, gain that clarity. All right. Anybody want to add into that? What you want? Create that plan, take massive action. All right. So step number 2 on this quantum leap, has to do with confidence. All right. So step 2 is confidence, having confidence, and your confidence is really your platform of charisma. All right. So listen, you need to believe in yourself, and these kind of groups right here will help us take the actions that help us gain and build that muscle to continue believe we can go further and further and further. Wouldn't you agree with all that? Shake your head, because I need to see you guys are getting all this.
Yeah, I like the sentence you just said a minute ago. Is that from this book, or is that from your own head?
I write a lot of this. What I do, Jesse, is I read a lot of books and I get a lot of concepts, but then I get to my computer and I start typing because I kind of go with what's inside and what I've used. Yeah.
So the sentence you just said that I liked it was, your confidence is your platform for charisma. I love that. Guys, write that down. Your confidence is your platform for charisma. I love it.
Now, I was writing that and I thought about one of my agents on my team, and she should be on this call. There's a lot of pages on here. So Candace Estes, I'm going to call her out. I'm not sure where she is on the screen, but so Candace has been in training for a while. She's closed quite a few deals. She's less than a year in the business. She's already closed several transactions. And here's the thing. I put her on a hot seat the other day just to do the buyer consultation. And we literally role played where I went to the office, sat in the, had her come out, introduced, you shake my hand, all those little things that's why I call my trainings and beyond. It's the stuff you can't Google. We come in when she sat in the chair and started to deliver that buyer consultation. Listen, guys, I've trained her. I know she knows her buyer consultation, but I got to tell you, I was blown away. She hit it out of the park, because all of a sudden when she took control and her confidence raised about 10 steps up, she delivered beyond. I mean, it was a really exciting moment. And sometimes we don't even realize, the charisma we have within us and how that's going to take the words you're saying to a whole nother level. Okay. So confidence.
Can I ask you a question? And I know you have lots of notes, but if this gets separated over multiple weeks, it's fine, because I want to dive into this. People watching.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about when I was writing all this today.
So how did Candace develop that charisma? Like, let's show of hands of people on the screen. How many of you guys are naturally charismatic? Raise your hand. Some of you are giving, perfect. So some of you guys are not giving credit. But some of you are not. Some of you are naturally charismatic, and in certain situations, you still tend to shrink a little bit just because you get uncomfortable, right? Anyone ever notice that?
Yeah.
So those of you who are not naturally charismatic, or even if you are, what do they do, Susan? Or Theautis, either of you guys, how do they develop that? How do they build that confidence and charisma?
Well, I'm going to start, and I'm going to go like this, because I want to give Theautis the floor a little bit. But I got to tell you, there's a gentleman on the call here, Michael Childs. I'm calling you out, Michael. So within an instant, and look at all the faces on the screen. When I said that platform of charisma, Michael beamed. I mean, out of all these pictures on the screen, I went, whoa, Michael. Who's Michael? I don't think Michael and I have talked to. Where did Michael go? No? There he is. Okay.
Hello, everybody.
But within a second, I've got how many faces on my screen? Bam, my eye just went right to you, Michael, because your smile and you just, your body language lifted up. You see the difference? Mm-hmm. So it's the words you say, but it's also the delivery. And a lot of it happens within ourselves as we start. This is why we go week after week on all these agent power huddles. It's not just a one little time thing. Wouldn't you agree, Michael? I'm sure you probably, as you practice, and as same thing as Candace, she's on this call, so I should have her click in. As she practices and starts internalizing and understanding what to say, how to say it, and just start using it like we're doing, the confidence level comes up. Theautis, I'm going to go like this. Finally, I know I talk a lot, guys. Go ahead. Jump in.
Yeah, I mean, for me, one of the ways I was able to build my confidence is really to take on something that I suck at. People, I'm doing the Iron Man, but trust me, my end game is not the Iron Man. My end game is to take everything that I've learned about myself in that process, to take someone who was drowning in the shallow end to someone who can swim 2.8 miles, ride 112 miles on my bike, and then do a full marathon all in the same day with only 6 months of training. What do you think is going to happen when I take that and apply it to my business? Before I was just like, I got to do my business plan. I need to do these things, but the engine behind it wasn't on the level that I felt it needed to be in order to really knock the ball out of the park. So as you guys get to know me and we talk about my Iron Man and stuff, just know that that's not the end game. This all comes back to the business and making sure I have the right energy, the right, fuel to take my business to the next level.
I love it. And watch.
I love it too. And that's why I brought that up, Theautis, because I knew you were going to go into something like that. We all have these life lessons, and I'm sure every one of us on these calls can share these types of stories. And one day, maybe that's another good idea. I got to jot down these ideas because they kind of unfold as we all talk, would be a day of sharing, because it's like that mastermind when you just share, everybody brings some kind of a quantum leap in their life that they've taken, and how it changed their life. And I've shared my story about the skydive. Wasn't an Iron Man, but I got to tell you, the purpose of my skydive was for one reason, and yet what happened afterwards created a whole shift in my entire life. So this is what happens, when we do that. So charisma, there you go. Where you bring, in that confidence.
So I'm going to do a quick thing. You ready? All right. So everybody, this is like a really quick action step to take away from this. This is physiology dictates your mindset. And now physiology is going to dictate your charisma and your confidence. I just watched this happen. So when Susan said, Michael Child sat up, right? He had this beaming smile. Now watch this, guys, because I did the same thing immediately. Some of you did, some of you didn't. Now everybody sit up in your chair, unless you're driving. If you're driving, you should be sitting up anyway, right? Sit up in your chair, okay? Sit yourself up, lean in a little bit, right? So I watched somebody lean in, and then smile. Watch what happens. Watch this screen. If you're on gallery, everybody smile. Just, I don't care if it's goofy, faked, or forced, or real. Be silly. Like, okay, look at Kevin Scott's goofy. So that was a good goofy smile. Look at that. Okay.
I love it.
And now consider how you're feeling right now. Okay, do you see how you're feeling right now compared to a minute and a half ago? You were already in the flow of listening to this mindset, but just as you change your physiology, because that's what I watched when Susan was explaining about what Michael did and whatever, like I found myself doing the same thing. Just like when someone tells you to take a deep breath and your shoulders relax, and you're like, okay, I got this, right? So imagine if you sit up, you smile, you take a deep breath, you relax your shoulders, and then you just launch into whatever you're going to do with the client, whether you're on the phone or face-to-face. Imagine how that's going to go. Go ahead, Susan.
And Jesse, I laugh because you don't even know what I've typed out on my sheets for my preparation for this. And when my next section was taking a deep breath, it always makes me laugh how we always get on these rolls. But taking a deep breath is, also drawing upon your past. What have you done in your past, that you didn't think you were going to be able to accomplish? Think back to that time, anything. And quite frankly, when I was being interviewed for the CEO role in Keller, they dug deep. I thought they were just going to ask them, like an interview question. We went back to like elementary school. We went back then into high school and the middle school, and the shy child I was in middle school, and how, from just being surrounded by some people who kind of pushed me in some directions and running for, class president in my freshman year and then ending it up 4 years in a row. Well, leadership started way back then and I didn't even know it. And it wasn't a decision I made. People around me, my tribe, encouraged it. They saw something within me I didn't see in myself. And so that's where all this comes into play. So take a deep breath and, draw upon some of your previous successes. How did you feel when you accomplished that? Take that time and don't pass it over quickly. These are, I'm sure you guys, you're all probably heard a million of these things that we're talking about, but we hear them and then we let them go and we don't really start to dive deeper in what they really mean to our lives. And that's what happened when you start drilling it down and asking yourself those kind of questions. How do you find the confidence, right? If you're thinking, well, that's, confidence, that's as, how do you find it? Anybody know? Theautis, how did you find your confidence?
Well, as you're talking about, I was just telling my son a story at the dinner table of, I was that chubby kid that wore tough skins that had, when you got a hole in them, you got an iron-on patch, while some kids had Jordache jeans. I wore tough skins. Some kids wore Jordashes. And I remember, has anyone been bullied before in elementary? Anyone been bullied before? I remember this one guy used to bully me, and I loved recess. And I'm like, damn, how can I want to go out and play, not hide from this dude. So I go in there, I have some mirrors in the hallway at home, and I used to watch Rocky, and I practiced. So what I did is I practiced in the mirror. I went and started to fight with the bully. I hit him in his jaw, and he never messed with me again. I got to play recess, you know what I mean? So it was like, at first, I didn't have the confidence. but I got to the point where I got tired of being sick and tired, and I wanted to play some damn kickball, damn it. So I was going to figure out a way how to get out on that playground.
I love it. But you had to identify something first to even take that step, though. You may even be unaware of it, but you had to identify something in yourself that you had the strength, right? You have to identify your own strength to take that action, though, and you did it. And look at it probably changed today. I would challenge you to really think it probably changed the entire course of your life when you made that decision.
Well, it did, but once again, it's like once we stop working on that muscle, if we don't keep working on the muscle, it gets weak again. So That's what's cool about this is, now that we're professionals, just because we got there once, that don't mean we're just going to stay there if we're not maintaining it.
Yeah, that's very true.
Not only that, but Ken Krotz, will you come off mute and read out loud what you just typed in the box? Check this out, Susan. Go ahead, Ken Krotz. Say out loud what you just typed in the box.
Do that with the bully inside you. And what I'm referring to is that little monkey on your shoulder that whispers in your ears, oh, you can't do it. Oh, it's too hard. Oh, I'd rather sit down and eat Cheetos. And that's the real bully in your life. It's the one that's hiding.
Slam dunk. That was a slam dunk right there, a moment. Is that not true? We call it sometimes the drunk monkey too, but the bully monkey can totally come out. So yeah, identifying your gifts and your strengths. And here's the thing, sometimes we don't see them ourselves. All right. And so, if you're not seeing them yourself, pay close attention to what other people are saying to you. I would bet there's many people that come up and say, oh my gosh, I love your energy. Or, so many people have said that to me over the years. Some people, I'm not for them, they don't like my energy. I'm just too much for them, but for other people, they love my energy, and so what is it? People who told, I would guess this probably happened to a lot of you. People told me a long time ago when I was waitressing, you'd make a great real estate agent. You'd make a great real estate agent. Well, I actually went for the fire department and became a firefighter before. I don't know if you know that story, but anyway, before I actually tested for real estate. But I got to tell you, listen and pay attention to what others are telling you, because they're obviously seeing a lot of your strengths, and sometimes we don't see them ourselves. Oftentimes we might believe in others before we even believe in ourselves. We believe more in them than they believe in themselves. And sometimes it takes a tribe of us to kind of help saying, gosh, you're really good at this. You really shine in this area. Focus on that. All right.
Can I give some homework to everybody? I know we're not halfway through, but can I give you guys some homework?
Yeah, this is going to continue in more weeks.
Yeah, well, that's fine. It's Mindset Mondays. There's no end to Mindset Mondays. They go indefinitely. So here's the homework, guys. Ready? I've given this assignment to a lot of people, but not to every one of you. So if you want to do it in a safe space, you can do this in the Agent Power Huddle Facebook group. No judgment. If you really want to have fun with this, put it on your actual Facebook, like in your own personal feed. Ready? Tag me in it if you want, just for bonus points, right? Tag me, but write this. Just write this to your friends, to anyone who knows you. How would you describe me in 5 words or less? Or how would you describe me in 3 words or less? Pick whatever, pick your poison. And watch how your friends, families, and loved ones describe you. It will blow your mind if you've never done this. I guarantee you don't even understand how you are showing up in the lives of people around you. It's a really, really good.
Jesse, that I love that. And here's an activity, and I don't know if there's team leads or on this. I know there is actually brokers. So when I was running my brokerages and we do our office meetings, we have 60 some odd people or more there, and this is when we had the live office meetings. We did a kind of an icebreaker, kind of before the meeting started. I have some music playing. I have everybody take a white piece of paper and scotch tape it on their back. Okay. And as the music is playing, we all have pens. We're walking around the room and we write on somebody's back the first thing that comes to mind when you see that person, what you think, what comes to mind. And at the end, then we stop. And before the meeting starts, we have, everybody stands up. I'm Susan, I'm, energetic or leadership or goal. People will throw out all these different things of what they see when they see you. It was a phenomenal.
I love that
icebreaker. It was just really great for everybody, just for growing in their business and their own personal lives. So your confidence, everybody, that's your it factor. Have you heard that? The it factor. That confidence will shine through. It's going to become so bright that when you walk in a room, people will say, "Oh my gosh, who is that? Who is that?" Have you been in a room and somebody walks in and you notice them? Just like I noticed, where'd he go? I keep losing him. His picture keeps flying around the screen. But that smile. Now Nate, now I'm seeing your big smile. Those kind of things. And that charisma is a bright, when you walk in a room. And so, again, quantum leap in your life, it all comes together, making your decisions, having confidence, having and believing in yourself. Step 3, which we're only going to have a few minutes to go through, but we'll get into a lot more of this because I think, are you enjoying this conversation? Give me some yeses. All right. This is Motivational Monday. We can, I know the rest of the week we get into, and believe me, I can get into a lot of training specific to real estate, but I think this really sets up our week. And believe in yourself. Step number 3, is that like confidence? Believe in your vision. All right. Whatever vision you set for yourself, you need to believe and see the end result. You need to step in, much like an athlete, will vision their end result. They're visioning their win. They're visioning it and they believe that they can do it. They're not creating that drunk monkey on our shoulder with that self-doubt because they've made the decision. They're off the fence. They've set their clear why they're doing it and their goal and their plan on how to get there. They have confidence that they can achieve it and they believe in that vision. They see themselves stepping into it already. All right. Somebody said, if you're brand new in the biz, fake it till you make it. Well, there's some truth in that. There's some truth in that. That doesn't mean you're being a fake. It means you need to role play and continuously see yourself and then hone your skills, brings your confidence up, much like I mentioned Candace when she sat down and owned that buyer consultation.
So Susan, so what was number 3? Say 3 again.
Step number 3, believe in yourself, believe in your vision.
Okay, so I want to ask Theautis a question, right? Because you referenced athletes, and what was that, Jacqueline? You got a question? You're off mute.
I guess I was off mute.
Yeah.
What was 2? I missed what number 2.
You want to recap steps 1, recap steps 1, 2, and 3.
Step number 1 is your decision.
Right.
Step number 2 is the confidence. Confidence is step number 2.
And step number 3?
And step number 3, believe in yourself and your vision.
All right, so Theautis, because you referenced athletes, and we literally have a dude. I mean, literally, it was 2 days ago. He did his Iron Man for the first time at 46 years old.
Yeah. Not
a professional athlete, not having trained his entire life, learning to swim. Literally, like the last couple of years, he learned to swim. So when you talk about believe in your vision, talk to me, Theautis. How did that? When you stepped up to the line to do your Iron Man on Saturday, what was your belief?
My belief is, the greatness or the ability to do it started with the decision. It started way back when I started training, not in that moment. So when I stepped up to the line, it was all about following the plan. All about following the plan. There was no rocket science needed at that point. All the preparation, the long workouts, waking up at 2:30 in the morning, 6 hours on trainer in my garage, all that grit, grind, cold winter days, people sleep, I'm working out. It was about following the plan. And then part of that too was, before I could believe in myself, I surrounded myself around people that believed in me more than I did, because I wasn't even sure I could do it. But I hung around people who had done it before multiple times. So you ever hear that saying, people, they love me before I learned how to love myself. Well, they believed in me before I could believe I could do it.
You get that, Susan?
That just fall right into this whole dialogue we've been having. I sound like a broken record. I sound like, but we don't talk about this beforehand. The three of us aren't, planning. This is all authentic, and it's just so fun to hear these stories and how it really comes right into exactly what we're talking about. But y'all frozen? Am I frozen?
You are frozen. It's your internet slow.
Okay.
Your internet's a little slow, Susan. But check this out. In the last couple of minutes, listen to how it parallels the story you're telling about Candace as a buyer's agent sitting down for the buyer consultation, or as a sales agent, whatever Candace's term is, but it's in a buyer consultation, and Theautis stepping up to the line, right? It didn't, for Candace, I guarantee you, next week if one of Candace comes chat.
I think maybe my internet's slow.
Oh, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's your internet. Sorry, it's your side, Susan. So if you guys, it didn't start with Candace. I guarantee if we ask her next week, it didn't start the moment she sat down. It started long before that when she committed to the process, and she had a flow. She had a system that she'd practiced, and she surrounded herself with people like Susan who believed in her, that know she could do it. So I'll let you wrap it up here for the last minute. If you're in it, that's okay, Susan, but look around the screen right now, guys. Take a screenshot if you need to. Look around the screen. Every single other person on here believes that you can do it, probably even more than you believe in yourself at this moment. Right now, all these faces, everybody looking at you, they know you got this. They do. And just, you got to make sure to remind yourself, I know I got this. So Susan, what's your last, I want to wrap it up. If you're in it, that's okay. What's our final thought for the day?
Well, so we got through 3 steps today, and, believe in yourself, believe in your vision. Remember, the belief, it fuels your passion. Okay. Belief will fuel your passion, and passion is going to make the difference in every area of your life. All right. You'll see things, people they'll follow through with the steps on things, but they don't put the passion and belief behind it. You're not going to get the same end result. So feel that energy, when that happens to you, when you're focused on something that excites you, and you get very clear on your path. Just we mentioned, we got through 3 steps today, and that was your decision, your confidence, and the belief in your vision, and that you can do it, and put that passion behind it. So we'll continue on with this topic because it goes on to, obviously there's 10 steps. So let's take that to start this week. I hope are you hearing me, or are my pause with my internet? We're good? All right, you guys, always great to see you. Have a fantastic week, and we'll continue on and dive deeper into the next steps. Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, Theautis. Bye, Susan. Have a good day, guys.
Bye, guys.